work.
Hi, welcome to Annette on Life, Liberty, and Happiness, a podcast where I talk about the Constitution, history, politics, the culture, and pretty much anything else I want to talk about. This podcast can be found on AnnetteTalks.com, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and you can see and hear on YouTube. I do film these. And today you're going to find out that I'm doing the just about anything else I want to category. Because things have been so crazy. We just had California shut down last night. And before I get too much more into that, let me just say, we're going to be talking about how to deal with worry with all the changes that are happening. And for that, I have brought in a special guest who is an expert in this area. And this is Susan Fry. Hi, Susan.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Great.
So tell us a little bit. Well, first I want to say we met by accident back in October when I was on a road trip to Phoenix, and you were outside of the temple and I was taking pictures, and you were trying to get a selfie, and I said, let me take that picture for you. And then you took a picture of me and my girls, and I didn't know you. And that was fun because you live in Phoenix, or the Phoenix area, right?
Right.
And I just felt like we connected. And over time, it got to the point where I've been working with you on some stuff that we're going to get into. So tell us what you do and what your credentials are.
Well, I'm an executive coach. I do personal and business coaching with people. Been doing it for about 22 years. I used to call it consulting, and I've been counseling, guiding, and helping people heal their hurts for the 22 years. And I have several different learning modalities, 21 learning modalities, and I've taken several classes and coaches because I've just always followed my passion. I stayed home raising my 4 children, and then I went into, after my son was in kindergarten, I started doing what I loved. I had to take classes like 20 years. So
excellent. I know when we met and I asked you what you did, and you said that you helped people take their dreams and make them into realities for their career. And I thought, that's right up my alley, because I'm doing this podcast and I'm doing this whole career shift from practicing law into not sure what, but podcasting is going to be a big element of that. And so you've been working with me for the last, I want to say 5 weeks. And it's been awesome. And I always tell people you're my therapist, even though you're not like a licensed counselor. But I think what we do is therapy, because it can be painful at times, but I can feel myself changing as we're going through it. And then all that week after the session, I feel a shift going on. And so it's been wonderful. And we started talking about doing this podcast last week, and we were talking about, because we feel like just this morning I went to Target and I could feel the tension in the people, and there weren't that many. And this is the first time I've gone Target shopping, and it wasn't a joyous, happy experience for me. And so I spend a lot of time on Facebook, which anyone that knows me can attest to. And there's just a lot going on right now with this whole coronavirus. And I would say not even like for me and a lot of my friends, we're not afraid of the illness, but it's the life-changing things that have been happening around it. You know, shops are closed, restaurants are closed, movie theaters closed, churches closed, our temples closed, libraries, everything's closed. And even bigger for us mothers, school is now closed. I'm guessing it'll stay closed until the end of the year. So all of a sudden we're thrown into a whole different world than we were in just a few weeks ago. Like every day, something big happens and we have to adjust to it. And I shared this with you before, but I consider myself to be a recovering worryaholic. And I can remember a time when my sister, I was complaining about something, and she said, you're just a glass half empty kind of gal, aren't you? And this was like 25 years ago or so. And that really cut me, because I thought, I do not want to be that person. And so I've spent the last several years working on that. But it's kind of like you're an alcoholic and you've been in rehab and you've been sober for several years, and then all of a sudden you have to work at a bar. And so I feel like I've been sober for several years, and all of a sudden I'm put into this situation where there are so many things that I could worry about right now. Like I could sit down and probably make a list of 100 things easily, of things, and big things, not like little, nothing things. And so what I was hoping that we could do today is to find a way to help me, and by extension, my listeners, figure out a way to not worry, or not worry as much, or contain it in some way. So what do you think about that?
Well, yes, what I see from this virus is it's really not that many people are afraid of getting the virus, but it's bringing up all their fears, their core fears. And this is the main thing I do with my work, is I work on core beliefs. And so it's bringing up all these fears in people, which then makes them go into control, and they disconnect from themselves. Right. So worry, has affected me in the past too. What it does when you worry, first of all, fear is worry. Okay. And anytime you go into fear, you, in a way, disassociate from yourself. You stop listening to yourself, which then causes you to go into the control of yourself, right? And it creates these cycles, and it takes you away from who you are. So you're not listening to yourself. So you're listening to everybody else, and you get attached to the world.
Yeah. And I think part of that with me too, is I'm spending so much time on Facebook that, there's a lot of fun stuff out there, and I'm putting a lot of funny memes because I'm trying to keep it light. But there's also just a lot of, even just seeing these memes reminds me of all the things that are going wrong, like the stores are half empty. Everyone's stocking up on toilet paper, and when will the stores not be there? And so there's this, getting so hooked into social media is one of the things that I know I'm doing wrong. It's like I go there because when we're isolated at home, we want to connect with people, and that's one way we can do it. But too much, and I start getting overwhelmed.
Right. And so, going into fear, it totally disrupts everything.
Yes.
And so this mass fear, you don't want to go into. You want to stay connected to yourself. All right. You want to connect to God. And I think that's what this is doing for everybody, is bringing all their stuff up. But I want to back up a minute, because you said this is your anything, category. But when you think about being free of worry and being free of fear, that's liberty. When you are free, that's what we all want, but we just don't know how to get there. So if you disconnect from yourself and going into fear, you're not going to be free. The only way you can be free is to connect to yourself.
So it sounds like we need to figure out how to disconnect from the world and connect again with ourselves.
Okay, so let's do a little bit of the process on you, if you'd like.
Yeah, everyone gets a little peek into one of our sessions here. Because if this had been one of our scheduled sessions, this is what we would be talking about. I guarantee you, because last night when I heard that, I'll just tell you what's going on, and then we can get to do some work. The biggest thing for me, because I'm a constitutionalist, when I saw that the California governor ordered everyone to stay home, you're staying home. My first thought was, he's just suspended the Constitution in California. And then, of course, the second thought is, what state is next and what state is next? And these are real concerns, and I can't just pretend they're not happening, but that raised a lot of anxiety for me, because my thought is, what can I do about this? I can't just sit back and not do anything when I watch everyone going so crazy that they're allowing the government to basically keep them in their houses, Right. And so I didn't sleep much last night. And then I have other people criticizing me for things that I'm doing. And it's like, I just feel like sometimes I'm getting hammered on both sides. And And I am a person that is fairly high profile. I've got my podcast. I'm big on Facebook. And so a lot of people look to me for guidance, or at least for amusement, if nothing else. And so I need to keep it together so that I can be there for other people and help other people keep it together, because we're all going through this. But anyway, I didn't sleep much last night because, California's now shut down. And who's next?
So what do you think you're fearing?
I'm fearing that this country is never going to be the same again. I know it's never going to be the same again.
And what's wrong with that?
It's going to be worse. It's going to be.
How do you know it's going to be worse?
Well,
how do we know this change isn't going to connect us? And maybe people will be connected to who they are and love more. You can choose love, or you can choose fear. It does, you can look for the opportunities in this. It's helping us to grow. It's helping us to look. We have to go within. We can either go into fear and be attached to the world and be all stressed out, or we can choose the love. And so I ask you, what are you fearing?
Yeah, I'm fearing loss of a loss.
Oh, you're fearing. Okay, so let's do, with my process, what I do is I have people repeat forgiveness statements out loud.
All right.
So that they can start to release the belief from their subconscious mind.
All right.
So we'll just start. So I forgive myself for fearing the country's never going to be the same again because of all the changes.
I forgive myself for fearing that the country is never going to be the same again for all the changes.
And I forgive myself for fearing the country's going to get worse.
And I forgive myself for fearing that the country is going to get worse.
Right.
I really don't want it to.
You don't want it to change. And see, that's a big thing for people. When you don't want change, life is all about change. It's all about growth. And we can't control change. We need to learn to go with it.
Yes.
And people that try to control change are afraid of change, or the fear of the unknown, is because they think they have to control it.
Yeah. And I have almost no control. I'm almost of two minds of this, because a part of me just wants to totally disconnect and just focus on my girls. I do these gospel doctrine sessions on Facebook on Sunday. Focus on being a better person, more spiritual, reading good books, lots of things like that, and homeschooling my girls, which I'll be doing next week, and completely disconnect from everything and just do that, because I know that I could find peace. But the other part of me says I cannot do that, because I still have a responsibility to help maintain the freedoms that I can, to help other people. And I really enjoy doing my podcast and being out there and talking about important things. So it's I have to somehow balance those two.
Right. And if you notice, several times you've said the word need, you need. And what's happening there is maybe you do need to connect with you and your girls for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
But see, that's where I go back to my whole premise. It's going to help you connect more to who you are. And then you'll know how to help people. You won't have to say, I need to do it. It will happen automatically.
Oh, right.
You see what I'm saying? So, but let's go back to your fear. So I think in change, when people resist change, is they're fearing being out of control. Yes. With all the changes.
Oh yeah, it's because it's the world is spinning out of control right now.
But you can look at it totally different when you're connected to God. It's all going to be, good will reign, good will come out. But why don't you I forgive myself for fearing being out of control and change.
I forgive myself for fear of being out of control and change.
Mm-hmm. So why do you have to be in control and change? This is where the worry comes back in.
Yeah.
Why do you worry so much? And we all have basic core desires. So we all want, I'm just going to go down to the core. Okay. Because there's lots of layers here. And then I'll give you some some things that are not on the core that you can do to help
Well,
her?
I think that
Go ahead.
I'm guessing that for me, it's probably the same as it is for a lot of not everybody else out there. When you see people out of work and everything's
But
shutting
Trump
down.
put this thing in, he's trying to get a thing passed in Congress, right? Where he's going to give money to people.
Yes, yes. But it's really easy to look at this and say, we're going to go into a worldwide depression. And then am I going to be able to feed my family? Am I going to be able to feed myself? Am I going to be able to clothe and shelter my family? I think to me, those are like the core.
Okay, but that's survival.
Yes.
That's living in survival. Don't go there. You will be loved and taken care of. I mean, things will work out if you believe it. I mean, that sounds kind of out there, but it's the truth. You're going to learn from this. You know, you're resilient. People have gone through much worse than this.
Yeah, I have to keep reminding myself every generation has something like this.
Yeah, so let's go down a little bit deeper. Instead of living in survival, you know, because that's the rat race.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to just, you know, their whole focus is the physical, you know. So think about what your really core desire, and what everybody's core desire is to be loved.
Yeah.
To be accepted. Men want to be accepted, women want to be loved. So at the core beliefs, that's what you're really afraid of. If you don't take your responsibility and do what you need to do to help other people, then you're not going to be a good person, and you're not going to be worthy of love.
Wow.
It's a deep thing. I mean, I hope people can.
Yeah.
And then if you think about your intent, because when you go into fear, you're living other people's. But let's go back to the worthy. We'll go into the intent in a minute.
Okay.
So I forgive myself for fearing that if I don't control myself.
I forgive myself for fearing that if I don't control myself.
To be a good person.
To be a good person.
In doing what I need to do.
In doing what I need to do.
I won't be loved.
I won't be loved.
I forgive myself for fearing I won't do the right thing to be worthy of love.
I forgive myself. Wait, sorry, I forgot the rest of that.
I forgive myself for fearing.
I forgive myself for fearing.
I won't do what's right.
I won't do what's right.
To be worthy of love.
For being worthy of love.
I forgive myself for fearing the unknown of change.
I forgive myself for fearing the unknown of change.
And doing something wrong.
And doing something wrong. Tell us again, because I'm used to doing this with you. I've done lots of these forgivenesses. Tell us again why you have me do this and why you have.
Well, what it does is what we're doing is we're working on core subconscious beliefs instead of behaviors. It's kind of like a diet. You know, you can force and control yourself to stay on this diet for so long, but until you get, that's a behavior, but until you get to the belief behind why you put on weight, you're going to yo-yo diet the rest of your life.
Right.
I mean, you can only do it for so long. So what I'm doing is helping you to release some core beliefs, and then you can make choices. Then you can make choices, and the power of choice is unreal. So what you want to do, but what my whole premise is, you know, for 20 years I've been working with people, and we can clear all this stuff, but it all boils down to how much you love and accept yourself. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have that foundation, then when something like this comes along, it knocks you off your feet. So this is us getting back connected to who we are. I have a book coming out soon. It's called Born to Be, How to Be Who You Were Born to Be.
Yeah, I love that.
We're not defined by our circumstances. We're not defined by our mistakes. We're not defined by our choices. But I think a lot of people we're not defined whether we have the food, or you're not defined by whether or not you help people. I forgive myself for believing I need to help people.
I forgive myself for believing I need to help people.
To be a good person and be loved.
To be a good person and be loved.
And Yeah. So I think, and this is where all this unworthiness comes up. And then people go into fear and they go into control and they disassociate from themselves. And then they don't know what to do. They just live in fear and they're going to be controlled by the masses, like California. Yeah,
Yeah.
people are so afraid that they're not doing anything. The
Yeah.
best thing you can be during this is to get in touch with you and be who you're born to be. Let go of these fears. Change is good.
Yeah.
Think about this. We all want, the human mind loves growth. We all want to learn and grow. It's who we are by nature. But when you're afraid of change and when you believe you have to control and you're in survival, you're not growing.
So let's go to the next step then. Let's say now we are in the situation and we have acknowledged that we're not going to be in survival mode and we want to grow because in our faith, we believe that this is leading up to the second coming. And so we are being prepared for that. And so to me, that means, woo, huge, huge, huge growth opportunities we are being given right now. And so like for me, I'm feeling like I need to watch and listen and hear what it is that I'm supposed to be doing it next.
See what I'm trying to see with you is you said you need to watch and grow. That's all control.
Okay.
Just be yourself and you'll know what to do. It's so much easier than the force and control.
Okay.
First of all, nobody wants to be controlled.
No.
But you see what I'm saying? So you will work on you.
So how am I working on me and how are people out there working on themselves to get to that place where they can be themselves and I can be me?
So what you want to do is, okay, so let's just look a little bit more on worry. So do you see the core of your worry yet? You worry. I forgive myself for worrying what other people think about me. Now this is huge
Yeah, that's a big one for me.
For everyone.
Okay.
It's not just you.
Right.
But I forgive myself for worrying what other people think about me.
I forgive myself for worrying about what other people think about me.
And I forgive myself and you do that because you're afraid that if you don't please them, you're not going to be loved.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be loved by God.
Yeah.
And then you're be a bad person. Right. Where if you back up and just be your authentic, real self, but you have to look at your thought processes. You have to look at the little things you do each day. And right. I'll give you some of those. And right now we're working on some core beliefs. Let's see if you have any other core beliefs around, do you have any other core beliefs around work? You pretty much see it now, don't you?
Yeah.
What do you tell me what you see?
I think that what other people think about me is huge.
It's huge for everybody. So I'm glad that you can admit that,
Yeah, well, I really want to be done with it.
Yeah, well, and if you go, but people fear what other people think about them because they don't want to be wrong. That's huge in our society now. Yeah. So I forgive myself for fearing being wrong and change.
I forgive myself for fearing being wrong and change.
And I forgive myself for fearing being wrong in going after my desires.
I forgive myself for fearing being wrong and going after my desires.
Now, I hear a lot of people will say, that's selfish, you need about other people, but it's the whole premise, you can't give from an empty cup. And if you're in fear, you're not giving yourself.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I just over the last few years that I've been working on this, I've noticed that the more I work towards becoming who I really feel like I am and letting that come out instead of trying to fit myself into a mold.
Good.
I have so much more to offer people. It's just like a natural flow that comes through. Like when I feel like I am being authentically Annette and I'm acknowledging my talents and my abilities and my skills, that they tend to be more at the forefront and I can share them with other people. So I don't think it's selfish.
And you feel great, right?
I got a real confirmation just now inside
Yes, I felt it.
that's exactly right. And so it seems like the focus needs to be that we all need to figure out the best
Okay.
way to become in touch with ourselves.
Okay. But okay, so let me just do a little bit more core work, because
Okay.
here's a big one for you, and then you can share as much as you want.
Okay.
But I forgive myself for fearing being rejected in change.
I forgive myself for fearing being rejected in change.
Mm-hmm. That's another one, you know, that's real big for people.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you fear being rejected in change, you're going to worry what other people think about you. And when you worry about what other people think about you, you're thinking about pleasing them, and you end up usually being rejected. If you try to people please, they're going to reject you.
Yeah.
And
Isn't that funny?
it's a paradox. Life is a paradox. But also, then you go into the control, and you do all this because you're not feeling worthy of love. You're trying, you were in, you know, maybe in your childhood, you know, you weren't loved unconditionally. And then you go into all these behaviors just because you want to be loved and accepted. Whereas the very truth is, probably because you weren't loved and accepted for who you were as a child, that's why you go into all these behaviors.
Right.
So I'm just clearing out some of the stuff on worry. And then, yeah, we need to talk about some things that you can do to love and accept yourself, to quit worrying, to, yeah, we'll talk about that too.
Well, I've got the mantra that you gave me, was it last week or the week before? I love and approve of myself. I have that posted around my house because it's, and I'm feeling vulnerable doing this, but I know that I am not the only person who has to really work on loving and accepting themselves and approving of themselves, because they didn't feel it growing up, or they didn't feel it from some source of, you know, you depended on that. And so that's one of my biggest, I love and approve of myself, is just to like put the focus back on here, to remind myself that I don't need to get it from anybody else outside, whether that's a spouse, a boyfriend, father figure, whatever. It's all.
And then paradoxically, you will be loved when you love and accept yourself. When you feel loved, you will accept that love. But what is happening now is, when you separate and go into fear of survival, you're not feeling that love. And so it's like it just disrupts all your energies. Mm-hmm. So you're not going to you're going to bring to you the fear.
Right.
You know, if you fear you're not going to have something, you're not going to have it.
Yeah, I know.
It's just basic 101.
Yeah.
You know? And if you think about it, fear becomes the motivator in resistance to change. Mm. And when you resist change, yes, you're going to worry. If you don't just go through the flow of life, you're going and listen to yourself. And the only way you can go through the flow of life is to listen to yourself.
Yeah, connect. I've noticed with all the changes, it's when I finally accept something and stop fighting against it that I'm okay. You know, like, okay, I see that California is now closed. I posted my feelings on that. I prayed about it. And then I said, okay, there's nothing else I can do about that. And so I accepted it and I've moved on. That doesn't mean that I'm never going to do anything about it again if I have a chance, but there's nothing I can do about it right now. And I just have to move on.
That's good. That's a good letting go. And that's one of the things that people have to do. I was going to bring up, a lot of times what people do when they go into fear and survival and they're listening to other people, they're disconnecting from themselves. They're living somebody else's life. And I call this, and then they just do what other people want them to do.
Yeah.
And that's what, my opinion, they're trying to control the masses. And I don't know if you go into that kind of stuff here, but they can't control you. Nobody control. In fact, control is an illusion. Mm-hmm. There is no control. And when you're in love, there is no control. When you're in pure love, you don't live by expectations. That's what's going to bring people out of it. And I know it sounds funny, but you wouldn't worry if you knew that you were loved unconditionally. It's as simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but yeah, we got to switch over because there's certain things we still need to do. We don't just sit around and love all day.
Right.
But if you think about impatience is really resistance to change. And you think about the little things that you know you should do each day. Do you do them?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. A lot of times people will say, oh, you know, they don't do those little things. Do you drink your water? Do you do your exercise?
Yeah.
You know, on a physical level, we can look at those.
Yeah.
So,
And a lot, I've shared with you that I take long meditative walks every day.
yeah.
And it's huge. A 45-minute walk in nature, no headphones, nothing, just walking. And every time, I couldn't do it today because it's all snowy and yucky outside. And I can always feel the difference. If I can get out, and I may be full of anxiety, but if I can get out there, in about 15 minutes, the anxiety has left. And by the time I get home, I'm a completely different person.
You're connected to yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And nature. I ran into a friend once from church as I was out walking, and he was walking the other way, and we stopped and we talked, and we were talking about why we feel like we get so many great ideas when we're out walking. And he says it's because you're out in nature, which is the creator's creation. And so when you're closer to creation, you're closer to the creator. And so you get that inspiration just flows.
Well, that's what I say. You know, if you're connected to yourself, you're connected to the creator. If you're connected to the creator, you're connected to yourself. It's one and the same.
I like that.
And so, yeah, I think that's good. So how are you feeling now? Now, the one thing I did, let's do forgiveness. And this is a really good one for everyone out there. You don't want to attach to the world. I forgive myself for attaching to the world in fear.
I forgive myself for attaching to the world in fear. Yeah.
And I say, in the name of the creator of the universe, or in the name of Jesus Christ, or whoever, it's creator of the universe if you don't believe in Christ. Mm-hmm. In the name of Jesus Christ, I now let go of all attachments, cords to the world.
In the name of Jesus Christ, I now let go of all attachments and cords to the world.
Yeah, you got to let go of the world. You've got to be you. And then it's a paradox. Life is a paradox. What will happen is you will end up helping more people. When I truly love myself, I don't have to think, oh, I need to go do good today. I need to serve someone. I do it automatically. Mm-hmm. Because it springs forth for me. It's no more need. Need is lack, guys. You know, and we want to feel, I mean, when you're in that space, all you have to do is choose fear. I mean, choose fear or love. I mean,
say, wait, I don't think I want to choose fear.
No.
Yeah.
But if you don't choose love, you probably are choosing the opposite. You have to choose love.
All right.
So how are you feeling now?
I feel a lot more relaxed. Like I'm going to take a nap later to make up for my lack of sleep. But you know, it's just like we have to sometimes be reminded to go back, because these are things that we know. But as soon as we connect too much to the world, it's like it's just easy to forget. And so I think it's good that we remind ourselves during the day to, again, let go of the world, connect with ourselves, connect with our families, and let, like, I feel a lot just more relaxed and more warm. Like, you know, I'm in a much better place. And so.
And if you think about this too, life is about progression. And a lot of people know this out there, but you know, we're always moving forward. Now, sometimes people will plateau and think of a diet. And if you plateau too long, you'll go backwards.
Right.
So we want to, and I think this whole thing is happening because think about our lives here. You know, everybody's kind of in a comfort zone. You know, a lot of people out there go to work, come home, watch video games or TV, go to bed, go do the next thing.
So you think as a world maybe we
growth.
plateaued, and so we're now getting a big fat growth experience?
Whoa. And we all, as human beings, you know, and, you know, plants grow, we grow. And if we're not growing, we're going to go into the negative. We're going to go backwards.
Right.
So part of it is, you know, is this is all good. I see it as good. Now, I'm not saying I've had my, you know, I've been totally, you know, when I thought, well, when I don't get my celery juice, you know, I kind of went into some fear, but it helped bring up some core issues for me.
Right.
But so let's give you some things now that we've released some of your core issues.
All right.
Now let's give you some new thought processes. It's your choice to choose, or you make a decision to change. So if you make a decision to be willing to change.
So I want to say I'm willing to change. Okay.
And so let me see if I'm willing to learn to be changed. Sometimes people's minds are resistant to it.
Okay. I'm willing to learn to be changed.
No, you don't want to be changed. You're opening up to change and growth.
Okay.
Without controlling it. I am willing to learn to change without control.
That's good. I'm willing to learn to change without control.
Because control, like I said, is not real, right. And it only lasts for so long. And right. Every time, if you go into a relationship or you go into work or do anything from the intent of controlling it and making it happen, it'll eventually crumble.
It's like the willpower thing. Yeah. You can't only do that for so long. So
right. And then, you know, here's another, we did the beliefs, but so how do you want to change? You want to not worry anymore, right? So that's really your goal.
Yes.
So what can you do to physically, so we're going to, you know, flip it here a minute. So how do you want to change? I'm going to look at it physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. How do you want to change physically?
Like as far, I don't know what you're asking me here.
Diet, exercise, water.
Yeah, I would like to eat better. I would like to eat more healthy. Wouldn't mind dropping a few pounds.
Okay. And how are you going to do that? Now, see, I really believe it's the small little things that we do each day that bring about these great things.
Right.
So it's our thoughts. It's you know, how we react, you know, the little things we do. Because a lot of times people, you know, they'll do the big things, but on a daily basis, they don't do the little things. And that tells you you're resisting change.
Ah, okay.
And when you resist change, you're going to go into worry.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to learn to go with the flow and not be thinking constantly about what you need to do.
Uh-huh.
Think about you know, connect. What do you want to do?
Right. Yeah, because we all know we're more willing to change when it's something we want.
Okay, so how are you going to eat better, especially during this time?
Oh, yeah.
But actually, I went to the store this week, and there's still every kind of vegetable and fruit.
Yeah, I know. I was there too. Well, I got the last of the strawberries at my store today, which was interesting. But I would say I need to add more fruits and vegetables into my diet. So I can do that.
Okay, so if you think this is funny, but I don't feel that sincerely from your heart, and you know how I can watch things and see things. And why do you think you wouldn't want to do that more? It's kind of like you're saying it, but are you really?
I don't know. I guess because I'm a creature of habit, and so I pretty much eat the same stuff every day. And so I'm going to have to find a way to fit it in there. You know?
And why are you a creature of habit? I hope you don't mind me saying this.
No, it's all right.
Because intent is everything.
Yes, yes, it is.
Your intent. And that's one of the things that people need to, during these times, what is my intent for doing this, this, or this? But okay, so you say you're a creature of habit because you don't like change.
Well, it makes it
worried
easier.
that if I change, I may not be loved anymore. That's
Okay.
how it all works.
Well, with the food thing, it's because, well, you know, I told you I used to be really overweight. And so I started counting calories. And so I basically found a way to eat that I'm comfortable with. And so, like, I don't like the idea of messing with that too much because I figured out what works for me. And
Good.
I didn't really want to change that too much, I guess.
Because you're afraid if you change, something will go wrong.
Yeah,
You'll be a bad person, and then you won't be loved. I'm just trying to show you guys how this all goes down there, you know. And people, I did a class years ago called Love Yourself Then, and people that worry about their weight, they're actually controlling themselves. They're allowing their weight to control them. And they do that because they've got a fear or guilt or something underneath that they've never even looked at. Just as a side note. Yeah. So let's go back to you though. So you're a creature of a habit. You're not wanting to change. Why are you not wanting to change? We know the core reason.
Yeah.
So let's go up a few layers.
It just feels like it's more like if there are so many changes that are already going on that are external that I can't do anything about, that I like the things that are already in place to just stay in place.
But see, the thing about it is, if you take charge of what you want, you'll feel less of that control out there.
Ah, right.
See what I'm saying? There is no control. People can't control you. But you can be in charge of you.
Yes.
Viktor Frankl, in his book, you know, the guy in the German concentration camp, he gave away his last piece of bread because he had made the decision, no one can take my happiness. And he wanted to be happy.
Right.
And they couldn't take that away from him.
Yeah.
He died in the concentration camps happy.
Yeah, I know. That's amazing.
But what I'm saying here, so you're holding on to, well, everything out here is changing. Well, no, let go. Be. Does that make sense, or does that sound too out there?
No, I know what you're saying.
Okay, so let's, I forgive myself for not fearing that if I change anything, I'll be overcome by all the changes of the world.
I forgive myself for fearing.
If I change anything in my habits.
If I change anything in my habits.
Of eating.
I'll
be overcome by all the changes in the world.
I'll be overcome by all the changes in the world.
And I forgive myself for trying to control all the changes of the world.
And I forgive myself for trying to control all the changes of the world.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so say now I want to really change my eating habits.
Okay. So I really want to change my eating habits.
So I'll say I choose to change my eating habits to eat more.
I choose to change my eating habits by eating more fruits and vegetables.
Okay, and you write that down as an affirmation. And choice is powerful. When your words come out of your mouth and you choose it, do it.
Okay. I'm just writing.
What's your intent for eating more fruits and vegetables?
Well, for one thing, to be healthier right now, because with all this stuff going on, I think we all need to be as healthy as we can be.
Why?
Just to help our immune systems. So
okay,
we don't fall prey to the virus.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So,
and I want all your listeners out there to check up on Annette and make sure she's eating her fruits and vegetables and all your whatever you guys do.
That's right. You guys can harass me.
You guys give it to her and see if she's eating her fruits and vegetables. Okay, so emotionally, is there anything that that you want to work on? I forgive myself.
more
Okay.
even keel, because I told you that my moods are kind of all over the place with the stuff.
That's because the energy's all over the place. So that tells me that you're reacting. I forgive myself for reacting to the chaotic energy in the world.
I forgive myself for reacting to the chaotic energy in the world.
You don't want to react, you want to act. So by doing these small and simple things that you choose, like during this time, I'm going to do all this in my home. I'm going to clean out my closet. I'm going to spend more time with my kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, on my next, I'm doing an episode on just that, on everything that we can be doing. That's
okay, good.
Episode.
Then we don't go into that, right? So that's a big one emotionally, because you're reacting to all that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
That'll take you down.
I don't want to do that.
Okay, so let's look at mentally. Mentally, what do you use? I'll give you something like, some people want to learn. Some people, or you could choose to, people get in touch with how you think and what you're thinking. Some people judge a lot. You may want to quit judging. You may want to have more destructive thought. You may want to learn something. What do you want to do mentally?
Well, I'm doing a lot of studying for podcast episodes and for teaching gospel doctrine online. So,
listen in your heart. Feel something. Wanting to learn something new. What is it?
Learn something new. I really need to get a handle on the scriptures better. I know that that's not something that,
Okay, did you notice how you say, I hope you don't mind me to point this out to your readers.
Need.
Maybe you need to quit saying that word need.
I know.
I really need to do you want to get connected to the scriptures? That's
yes.
do you desire it?
I desire it, although I tend to, see it as something that's really hard instead of something that's fun. And so it does feel like a need.
Because you're trying to control it.
Yeah.
And anytime you go into control, it's hard. It's a struggle.
Yeah.
You got to listen to what you're wanting. I just want to do this. I want to,
Yeah.
So what would you,
okay, I have it. I want to explore new ways of doing my podcast, new topics, new things that I know will help people, like what I'm doing right now. This is
okay.
I want to keep being open to new things that are going to come in so that I can give people what I feel like they need to hear at that moment. So I want to be able
to hear or want to hear.
Well, they want to, but I want to explore. I want to be more open to new inspiration and ideas that come in.
And you know what? I still think you need to do it through your desire for scripture study, because when you can connect with that, the ideas will flow.
Yeah, there's definitely a tie-in there.
So I forgive myself for trying to control my scripture study.
I forgive myself for trying to control my scripture study.
I forgive myself for thinking I have to do my scripture study a certain way.
I forgive myself for thinking I need to do my scripture study a certain way.
No, let it flow. Okay. Do it differently, however you want.
All right.
But put down there on your affirmations, I choose to learn to let go to enjoying my scripture study.
All right.
You're just doing it because you think you have to.
Yeah. I mean, I do enjoy it, but a lot of times it does feel like it's just a chore. And I don't want that.
That's anytime you feel that way, it's all about control. Anytime you add control in, it's struggle, it's hard, you don't want to do it. It's like staying on a diet.
Yeah.
Diets don't work.
Yeah.
Like guns don't kill. Food doesn't make you fat.
Yeah.
And pencils don't make mistakes.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, spiritually, is there anything in that area you want to work on?
I think it's connected to the other things. I'm just wanting to making sure that I'm listening to the Spirit more, that I'm praying to have the Spirit with me more, that I'm more just spiritually minded throughout the day, which is, I feel like will come to me as I disconnect from the world more.
Well, this is the way I see it there with you is you already are. Why do you have to do more?
Yeah. I think the only reason I feel that way right now is because things are so crazy right now. And so I don't want to forget and become, I don't want to just rest on my laurels and not be reading my scriptures and praying daily. I don't want to backslide. I want to make sure I maintain at least where I'm at, because we need inspiration so much right now, just to get by.
There's that need again.
Yeah, I know.
Triggers you into control.
I want the inspiration.
Okay, you have it now. You are connected. You are praying. But what's tripping you up is I forgive myself for believing I have to do more because the world is so chaotic now.
Okay. I forgive myself for believing that I have to do more because the world is so chaotic right now.
And you don't. You already got it there. But
that was a big one. That one let go of some stuff for me.
Right. And that's what a lot of people do. If we back up to loving and accepting ourselves and feeling worthy, people think they have to be more than who they are.
Mm-hmm.
I forgive myself for believing I have to be more than who I already am.
I forgive myself for believing I have to be more than who I already am.
To be a good person and be loved.
To be a good person and to be loved.
And we don't. That's one point. I don't know how much time we have, but the imperfections.
We're about out.
Oh, okay.
Right.
That was the one point I've got here. That leads into that, and then I'll be quiet. Okay. But we have to accept our imperfections. We accept that we are perfectly imperfect. The biggest thing I see out there now with people is they don't want to be wrong, and they are not accepting their imperfections. We're all imperfect. We're all human. We need to just love each other in our humanness.
I know it's funny. We love to see other people vulnerable, but we don't like to do it. Like I feel like I could cry pretty easily right now. And I'm like, I don't want to do it on a podcast. But you're right. I think if we can love ourselves and approve of ourselves more, it makes it that much easier to love and approve of other people, because
and love and approve of yourself and your imperfections.
Yes.
And the vulnerability, you're right, is a huge one. And if you can't be vulnerable, you're not going to have a relationship. I know, I lived there most of my life. Yeah. I mean, I was terrified of being vulnerable and being hurt and, blah, blah, blah. And for guys, it's, they're terrified of being rejected and not accepted and not admired. Mm-hmm. But the more you tell the truth about yourself, then and in your imperfections, the more you'll experience real love. And if we hide and put on all these pretenses, we're never going to experience real love.
Yeah, because they're loving the pretenses if they're loving it all. And I always think that too. Why try and be something other than who I am? If I want someone to love me for who I am, I have to show them who I am.
Exactly. And that's a lot more difficult than what
it is.
We've touched on some things here, and a lot of these things we can take down core. Another thing you might want to, I deserve to change. I deserve, a lot of people don't feel worthy. They think they have to be somebody else, do all these great things in order to allow change. Right. But by you taking charge of you during this time, and thinking, oh, I could do this. Like I'm doing my whole thing on my business online. It's going to be wonderful. I'm looking forward to these changes. I mean, at first I was a little disgruntled, because it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. But I can see the good now.
Yeah, I can see.
Look into that.
Even when this stuff started kind of hitting the fan about a week ago, I had some really spiritual moments where I felt like there are some opportunities here for you. And I've already seen a few of them open up. And so I think that this time is so difficult, but whenever we're in a difficult time, we're given opportunities. And my most difficult times when I've become really close to the Spirit and understood God just a little bit better. And so I'm thinking this is an opportunity to do that.
Well, and that's the experience part. That's the last part of my process. Is then after you've released the core beliefs, after you've chosen what you want to choose and choose new affirmations, and after you've done the forgiveness and everything, you want to experience something new. So during these times, experience something new every day. Do something you enjoy, because then that will cement in your new beliefs. Experience is why we're here, to get an experience.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? What are you going to experience new this week?
Homeschooling my kids is going to be new. So I think it's going to be about, I think what I would like to do is try and find ways to connect with them that I have not connected with them before. That's probably going to be the biggest thing I'm going to do this week. That and the podcasting, different podcasting as well. But I think the biggest thing is going to be finding ways to connect with them. I want to surprise them a little bit, and I want to surprise myself a little bit and get out of our old habits and into something new.
Well, here's a couple things I would suggest. Don't go in there thinking about what you should do or need to do.
Okay.
If you can remember that, that's important. Yeah. And then ask them what they desire, what they want in learning and growing through this process. And then ask them what they want and how they're, what they want. But guess what, Annette? They know what they need. They know what they want to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Ask them.
Okay.
Let them guide it.
No, you're right, because they have a much better idea.
Don't go down this curriculum. I mean, they may say, I want to do this, this, and this, but help them to connect to themselves and choose. Yeah. The power of choice. See, people, you talk about the Constitution, all that. People don't believe that they have the power to choose. 75% of our economy, America is a victim mentality. We always have the power to choose.
Yes.
So your children, even as young as they are, they know what they want.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm going to do that because I'm not in their head. I'm not them. I don't know.
All they need, the best thing you could give them is love and acceptance. Tons of love. And guess what? When people are in an atmosphere, when they feel loved, they can do anything. Yeah. It's like their spirit gets permission. Oh, I want to do that, instead of I need to do this. I should do this, and beating themselves up.
Yeah, I like it. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this work, was because I want to hand down to them self-love and self-approval. The other day, I called them all together and I said, I need to talk to you girls. And they said, what do you want? And I said, because they were expecting something, I don't know what, they were expecting something negative. And I said, I just want you to know that your parents love you and your Heavenly Father loves you, and that I hope you all love yourselves. And they're like, why are you telling us this? And I thought, because I want you to remember that. If nothing else in your life, I want you to look back and remember Mom loved me and she wanted to make sure that I loved myself. So I want them to grow up respecting themselves.
And you know what I always say to people, the best thing you could give your children is to love and accept yourself.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't tell them anymore. I would just show it.
All right.
Because they follow more by example, and if you really feel it in your heart. But that's the best gift, because then the kids will have confidence.
Yes. That's what I want.
If they love and accept, and they feel worthy, mm-hmm. They can go out and do anything. And here's a side note too. During the Depression, when everybody lost everything and people were jumping out of windows, mm-hmm. and killing themselves, mm-hmm. the people that knew who they were knew that they could go out the next day and make it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there were some people that didn't. They went into the fear, jumped out the window and killed themselves.
Yeah. We're not going to do that. All right. We're going to wrap it up here. I appreciate you so much. Let your listeners know where they can reach you. If they want to contact you about doing like what we've been doing, and that they can do it over a Zoom meeting like this, like we've done, or if they're local to you, I don't know if you do in-person stuff, but where can they reach you? Yeah, where can they reach you, Susan? That's
Okay,
right.
so
Social
I'm going to
distance.
give you a website that's going to be changing because I'm revamping the website. I'm doing everything online. It's simplyloveprocess.com. And I'm going to give you my number because I will give free 15-minute consultations. So that's 480-326-0398. And on Instagram, it's Simply Love the Truth of You. Like I said, these names are going to maybe be changing, but it's still the same process. And yeah, so
Right.
yeah.
I will have them contact you. And I'm guessing we're going to do at least one more episode at some point. And especially when your book comes out, I want to have you come on because I love what you're doing. But you've already made a huge difference in my life. And I don't think it was a coincidence that we met when we did. And that it just so much of what we've done together has felt like, oh, this is happening right now because it's supposed to happen right now. It's time. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
And you know what? And that's where I go back to what I see in you, Annette, is you are already guided. You're already connected, and you are already, by doing what you're doing, you are doing what you love. And you just remove the need and shoulds. I mean, you're gifted in this.
All right, you can make me cry again. All right, we're going to stop before I get too verklempt.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much, Susan. And I will also put your contact information in the show notes. Again, You can find this podcast on AnnetteTalks.com, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, everywhere you can find podcasts, and especially go to YouTube, youtube.com/Annette Talks. Please like, subscribe, share, tell a friend. And thank you for listening to Annette on Life, Liberty, and Happiness.